handing it over to Sandeep Sethi sir, who would be introducing the panel and the team, and the team would take up and they would keep on passing the baton to the next speaker. Once that is over, then we would take up the questions from the people who are already with us and the ones which are coming onto our YouTube channel and other platforms. And that's the way we'll work it out for the entire one. And then we'll have a Thanksgiving. With me, Dr. Swati Gupta is also joined from the CBSC, and she would also be a part of our team here. Okay?
Okay.
Fine. So we are live now. Good afternoon, everyone. All the principals, heads of the institutions, teachers, faculty, and all those who are present on this forum. This is our session, which is now, we can say, after the orientation. We had a session on pottery, then we had a session on bakery, and today we are into another very interesting skill manual, that is the Khadi. So I would just like to put in that for the people who might have been the first time, participants in this session, we have a circular 48 that talks about introduction of the skill modules in the CBSE ecosystem. And if you'll go through that module, you'll know that it has all the details of how you can register, what are the modules that are available, the mapping of the existing teachers to the manuals as such, and also the list of collaborating organizations. Fine. So kindly, all those who haven't had a look at it, please go through the manual and you'll get, circular, and you'll get all the details. Along with that, we would be talking about a manual which is the Khadi as of today. And we all know it has its own national and cultural and historical importance. As we all know by now that Khadi is one medium which is very, very eco-friendly. And as per the suggestions by the experts, they say that if you are spinning or weaving of Khadi for, say, 1 meter of a yarn, it only takes about 3 liters. Whereas the same any other fabric in the machine mode or the mill's production might take up 55 liters. So this is one very small aspect of being very eco-friendly, apart from a lot of things that Khadi has, in store for us. It is a development of a sector which is contributing to Make in India, vocal for local, or you can say the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So I would not take much of your time, and my suggestion would be that I will open the floor for Sandeep Sethi sir, and he can take the session from here. Welcome all of you once again. Thank you so much. Sandeep Sethi sir, over to you.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much, and welcome all principals, teachers, and all friends who are wanting to understand how to use the Khadi manual in schools for the vocational subjects. Now, what is interesting, Niti ma'am, in all this process in the past 1 year that we've been doing the pilot project and getting the manuals done, there has been so much of learning, and the learning has been also very diversified. So we had baking, cooking, herbs, how to make graphic novels, khadi. The whole process has been very fascinating. Why I'm emphasizing on this is that I've been a lucky one to get in touch with so many manuals, but schools should also not stop themselves from exploring more than one, two, three topics to take up for the students, because it's more of self-study material which has been created. And if you only have the practical areas to work with, I'm sure you'll enjoy doing more things with the students, and the student would also enjoy doing more with them. We have around 30 manuals ready by now, which are on the CBC website, but we're also talking about 25 more topics included. So anyone who is still wanting to join in, has a desire that I would like to do this on this subject, please share things with us so that we can guide you. We're having the first session of training of the second phase of manuals within a day or two. So of course that we put up in certain groups. We already have 25 schools registered for that, but it's going to be
I think we have lost him. No issues. As he was saying that there are about now we have. I'll just like to reiterate that there are 33 skill modules which are already available. So what I would say, I think I'll hand it over to Jyoti ma'am Jyoti Gupta ma'am, welcome to the session, and it's really a privilege to have you here as part of the resource team. And I think without any technical glitch or anything, I'll just hand it over to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Neeli ma'am, for having all of us here as a part of the panel to share our experience about not just the concept behind creating the Khadi manual, but also sharing with everybody as to how we can make it relevant. At the outset, greetings from USA. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Biswajit Saha and the entire team at the CBSE in the skill department to have encouraged all of us to create these small modules for classes 6, 7, 8. And I also take this opportunity for the leadership of Mr. Sandeep Sethi, who has brought together all the schools and led the entire team right from the conceptualization to where we are today, where we are disseminating the information about these skill modules that have been developed. I can't thank my team enough for creating this module, not just for these children, but also delving deeper into the subject and learning so much that we are going to bring to the children a skill that is going to not just help them, but it is going to help the country later on as well, as there is a lot of importance that is being given to reviving the khadi and also encouraging more people to use the products that are made by Khadi, because it is, as rightly mentioned by Neeti ma'am, a part of our project of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India and local for global. It's also important that we learn the skill of self respect and self reliance through using the Khadi products, and by understanding as to why it is important to use the products that are locally made by these people, by the local artisans, because if you are using the khadi products, you are brightening the lives of the entire family of the person who has made these products by hand. Now, why did we choose khadi for the skill module? It's important that the children understand the value of creating something that we are using in our everyday lives, whether it is producing the yarn and then producing the cloth and then using that cloth for our day to day life, or it is using the products like handmade soap, handmade incense sticks, handmade perfumes. There's so many products that khadi produces. So we should, as the Indians, not only be encouraged to create these products, but we should also be encouraged to use these products. The children should go behind the entire history of khadi. They should know as to how, by boycotting what the Britishers wanted us to use, the cheaper cloth, which was not even eco-friendly, which was made out of machines and which was giving the opportunity of employment to the people who were not local, who were not our own country people, and also something that was not good for our own skin and for the environment, for the sustainable development as we have these goals of the UN now. At that point of time, they weren't there. So we were that time encouraged by none other than our own father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, to boycott all of that, and create our own yarn, weave our own yarn, and use that we were producing in our own country by the cotton that was locally grown. So it was giving the farmers, an employment. They were being encouraged to grow in their farms the cotton, and then that cotton was being converted into the yarn through the charkhas. The charkha has undergone a sense where we all see that our father of the nation is depicted in all the pictures where he is weaving the yarn through the charkha. The charkha now has become a lot modernized, and it produces a lot finer fabric. So it's important that children connect khadi to our own history, to our own roots, as to how we started and how he made it popular by weaving it himself, and by holding the sermons and holding the classes for the people would be encouraged to use the chalka to also make it a part of their lives. So it's important to understand, and that's what encouraged us as well. Uh, I am at this point of time also doing a round of universities and the schools in US. And yesterday I did visit one of the facilities where the production of fabric is a part of the course for the children, and people come from all over the world, and the entire industry is set up in the university where the children are learning how the fabric is produced, and then what do you do of the fabric that is produced. That is the entire design, the entire R&D of this is of the industry is done in the university itself. So creating modules like this, I'm sure that Khadi, and we've also spoken to Khadi, and I'm sure CBSE, Dr. Saha, Mr. R.P. Singh are all going to take this conversation further, where we can add some bit of looms in the school itself, so that the children can get the first hand experience of creating khadi. So our children can of course go there. We've spoken to KVIC, and they are very much ready to hold the workshop specially for the children, and twice in a week they are anyways making they are taking the classes, where the classes can be taken by the adults, they can be taken by the children. They can specially send the people to the school to ensure that we are being guided in the right direction. Also, if the children are taking up this, it is going to give them another experience and another I would say some children who want to become entrepreneurs, and they want to take it up as a career later on, because the industry, the cloth industry, the fashion industry is a huge industry, and a lot of children, even after doing the academic streams, they get into these businesses, and it becomes relevant for them to learn it right from the beginning. The science behind creating the fabric, the science behind creating the soaps, the science behind creating the candles, the science behind creating the beauty products that are created by khadi. So it's an important subject for the children, and there's a lot of interdisciplinary approach that has been used in creating this module. A lot of subjects that the children are doing at the level of classes 6, 7, and 8: the science, the social science, the language, the communication as a skill, collaboration as a skill, critical thinking as a skill, problem solving as a skill, And of course, creativity as a skill. All the 21st century skills that we have been talking about, all the competencies that we are talking about, including the citizenship and character, have been built into this module. And we have interconnected all of these subjects, that it does not remain as a standalone subject for the children to do, but it kind of connects and cuts across all the subjects, so that they can understand that if we are taking this up as a skill module, then how are we going to problem solve? How are we going to create new things? And how does it become a relevant part of what we are doing as students? So that was the thought process behind it, and we've enjoyed putting together this module for the children. And today, with so much of importance being given to Khadi, where our own Prime Minister is talking about reviving Khadi, and KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industrial Commission, has been celebrating the Khadi Mahotsav. We have participated in Ghaziabad in the Khadi Mahotsav, where the children were brought in. They expressed through different mediums of art, visual art, performing arts, the importance of Khadi. So there is so much of importance that is being given to Khadi, that it was only appropriate for us to take up this project and to research on it. Not just the teachers, but also the children as a team were put together, and we are piloting it. Unlike the other two modules that have already been presented, we have not executed this for our school for the entire year, but we are also piloting with the rest of the schools, and we will keep evolving, and we will keep adding to the module as we learn this year. And I'm sure the schools that are going to take it up this year are also going to find it exciting, and they are also going to add on a lot to the module. And maybe in a year's time, we can, through all the inputs that are going to be given, we can improvise, and we can give to the nation something that has been our ours. It has been a part of our culture, it has been a part of our history, and our children are going to carry it further, and they are going to make it relevant, even more relevant in the times to come. So thank you so much, the entire team of the skills department, ably headed by Dr. Saha and Dr. R.P. Singh. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, and I would now hand over to my team, to Ms. Bharati Mathur. Ms. Seema is there, so you may take over and explain the entire curriculum.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaskar to one and all present here in the meeting and across India. Khadi is a skill based module to learn about Khadi as a procedure of ginning or cleaning, carding or sliver, combing, spinning, and finally the making of fabric through warping and weaving. The learners will not only gain knowledge about the history of Khadi, but will also be able to answer the questions like what, where, and how of making Khadi. It will also enable them to operate charkha and the loom. The learners will have a practical knowledge and will be able to spin kapas, that is cotton, to sooth, that is thread, using takli, peti charkha, or any other type of charkha. And they will be using kargha for making the cloth. This course is a planned sequence of instructions consisting of modules and units meant for developing interest, employability, and vocational competencies for of learning of classes 6 and above, opting for vocational or skill modules, along with other academic subjects. The art of making cloth was a part of daily chores of any Indian household. It received a boost with Gandhiji's entry to the Indian freedom struggle. Clothes made with the help of charkha and the homegrown cotton were more preferred than the cloth brought from the industrial setup. When India got independence, the charkha was kept in the backyard of the house. And with time, making khadi cloth was only restricted to khadi gramodyog. NEP and CBSE have given has again revived khadi as a skill which not only make our children atmanirbhar but also enable them to learn a skill to sustain them mentally, spiritually, patriotically, and economically. Our journey of making this module started with research through the internet, library of Gandhi Smriti, Gandhi Museum at Rajghat, Khadi Gramodyog, Khadi and Village Industry Commission and Training School near the Gandhi Museum. I would request Ishwin ma'am to play the, or rather, Vikas sir to play the video.
The video is not visible on YouTube.
Okay, ma'am. I think the video is not visible on YouTube, so we can take up the session further from here.
Bharti, the video is not visible on the YouTube. So you can stop it and carry on with your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Do the activities rather. We will post the video on the YouTube.
We'll continue with the presentation.
Next slide. So, good evening. I am Neha Chabra, and now we will elaborate upon the modules. So, the first module of Khadi includes 4 units. Unit 1 is titled Khadi the Journey, which apprises the learners with the history that Khadi owes its revival to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who saw its potential for being self reliant and independent and bringing back to life the economy of the villages. There was creation of the All India Khadi and Village Industries after independence, and it culminated to the formation of KVIC, Khadi Village and Industries Commission, responsible for the promotion of development of enable the learners to gain knowledge about the whole process of khadi weaving, which involves the growing of cotton in fields to the production of fibers for spinning yarn and the use of hand looms and power looms for weaving cloth. The third unit deals with the scope of Khadi, which is vast and varied. It not only provides employment in rural areas as it involves spinning, weaving, but in recent times, manpower is required for product development and fabric designing, fashion designing, and innovative craftsmanship. Unit 4 includes tools and techniques used to make Khadi. Over to Ishmeen, ma'am.
Please change the slide. Good evening. Module 2. Sorry. Good evening. Module 2 consists of 4 units. Unit 1 throws light upon how development of Khadi is a critical component in achieving a balanced development of the nation as it promotes entrepreneurship at micro level, self-employment and development of weaker sections of the society, and hence is integral to our growth progress. Unit 2 talks about the story of Khadi making, which will help the learners gain an insight into the process of khadi making, packing,
Neha
and
ma'am,
marketing.
excuse me, Neha ma'am, I will just pitch in. It seems there is some technical glitch in the application that has been shared by the school at your end because it is not getting converted to the YouTube audience.
Ma'am, the slide that we are presenting, is it not
Yes,
visible?
yes. Only the voice is there. So can you share it again and
We'll
start
do
from the
that,
beginning?
ma'am.
Start
We'll
from
do.
the beginning. Okay.
There is an issue with the YouTube. The video might not play on YouTube again. So we might attach it later on when we put a video again.
Ma'am, can you please check if it is visible now on YouTube?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am.
Please carry on. You can
Okay,
start with the module 1 again so that the others
ma'am,
who
we'll
have
do
missed
that.
out can also look into it. Fine. Thank you so much.
No problem.
The first module of Khadi includes 4 units. Unit 1 is titled Khadi, the Journey, which apprises the learners with the history that Khadi owes its revival to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, who saw its potential for being self reliant and independent and bringing back to life the economy of the villages. There was creation of the All India Khadi and Village Industries after independence, and it culminated to the formation of KVIC, Khadi Village and Industries Commission, responsible for the promotion of development of the Khadi industry in rural areas. Khadi Villager Industries Commission, responsible for the promotion of development of enable the learners to gain knowledge about the whole process of khadi weaving, which involves the growing of cotton in fields to the production of fibers for spinning yarn and the use of hand looms and power looms for weaving cloth. The third unit deals with the scope of Khadi, which is vast and varied. It not only provides employment in rural areas as it involves spinning, weaving, but in recent times, manpower is required for product development and fabric designing, fashion designing, and innovative craftsmanship.
Your slides are not
Unit
moving.
4 includes tools and techniques used to make Khadi. Over to Ishmeen, ma'am.
Good evening.
Slides are
Module
not
2
moving.
Good evening. Module 2 consists of 4 units. Unit 1 throws light upon how development of Khadi is a critical component in achieving a balanced development of the nation as it promotes entrepreneurship at micro level, self-employment and development of weaker sections of the society, and hence is integral to our growth progress. Unit 2 talks about the story of Khadi making, which will help the learners gain an insight into the process of khadi making, packing,
Neha
and
ma'am,
marketing.
excuse me, Neha ma'am, I will just pitch in. It seems there is some technical glitch in the application.
That one throws light upon how development. Ma'am, are we audible?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Ma'am, then shall we
Um,
continue? I believe there's some glitch with YouTube live
just
streaming.
wait here while you are presenting. You must also hear what the others are saying. Niti, ma'am,
Yes, please.
can we continue? Is it audible?
Yes, it's audible. Please continue.
Okay, ma'am.
Ishmeen,
I'll
please
continue.
continue.
Yes, ma'am. I'll continue with Unit 3. Now, Unit 3 talks about Khadi Silk and Environment, and which discusses the importance of Khadi as organic and environmental friendly. As manufacturing Khadi using traditional ways does not require electricity and no toxic waste is generated in the manufacturing process, producing zero carbon footprints. At present, use of solar charkha is also being popularized. It also elaborates upon the fabric khadi silk, which is 50% cotton and 50% silk, and how khadi has epitomized sustainable fashion. The fourth unit discusses about tools and techniques used to make khadi. Now, I'll speak about Module 3. Here we have 3 units. The first unit talks about Khadi and its development. It explains the efforts made by the Government of India to promote development of Khadi and how Khadi have been taken from local to global. It emphasizes upon the fact that how journey of Khadi has been about maintaining the balance between tradition and modernization. Unit 2 talks about loom, the kargha. This will help the learners gain knowledge about the different parts of the loom, which is a device used for weaving yarn into textile, as well as the different kinds of hand looms and power looms which are used to make the khadi fabric. The last unit discusses about the process of khadi in making. Now, what exactly is khadi? It is a naturally and indigenously sourced textile. It is a hand spun and hand woven, usually from cotton fiber. It can be obtained from silk and wool. The fabric is known for its rugged texture and is versatile in nature. Therefore, it remains cool in summers and warm in winters. Some interesting facts related to Khadi are as follow. Khadi was earlier used in our national flag. It is extremely environmental friendly, and 70% of Khadi weavers are women. It is an exclusive fabric because no two Khadi fabrics are identical. It is also the fabric associated with Swadeshi movement, hence it has national importance. It is cool in summer and remains keeps the body warm in winter. It enables full utilization of locally available raw materials and human resources.
Now, the learning outcomes of the module, what is expected of the learners? Identify and describe the processes involved in khadi from spinning the yarn to weaving the cloth. Compare the scope of making khadi and its employability as compared with other vocational projects. They will critically analyze the importance of khadi in relation to the socio-cultural environment. They will compare khadi and other related products. The learners will identify and describe khadi as a sustainable product. They will make yarn from the cotton using takli, differentiate between traditional charkha, peti charkha, and the modern charkha, which includes the solar charkha. Critically analyze the importance of khadi in relation to mental health and well-being, and identify the parts of khadi, karkha, and operate karkha. They will be able to differentiate the types of looms and identify and use the parts of karkha. They would, of course, produce khadi cloth themselves, the end product of the program. And the benefits of introducing khadi as a skill to promote Khadi as a source of learning, livelihood, and becoming self-reliant. Khadi promotes healthy and clean environment to make, of course, to make those entrepreneurs and job providers, Atmanirbhar Bharat, to provide better job opportunities, better paying jobs, and a higher standard of living for the youth in both rural and urban areas. Trained individuals entering the workforce, which will lead to better and faster results and a boost to the Indian economy.
Over to you,
Kha-
Bharti ma'am.
Thank you, Shrin ma'am. Khadi module may be used for all age groups. These modules incorporate the history of khadi making, charkha, raw materials like cotton, wool, and silk, how the raw material is converted into puni. Puni is very important raw material which is made out of cotton, and it is made after using patli and the comb, and these punis are converted into yarn with the help of takli and charkha. This yarn is further then puni is a basic raw material for making a yarn. It is tied little roller of carded cotton which is spinned on any spinning instrument, whether takli or charkha. Next is the takli. Takli is a simple device used to spin short fiber. It has a hook on one side to hold the fiber from this puni from the puni, and it has a heavy circular base to roll the yarn. It is usually made up of metals, and wooden taklis are also used. And takli can also be replaced by charkhas, which is also known as the chakra, a small portable charkha, which is very well known as Gandhiji ka charkha. It is a hand cracked wheel. Can we have the next slide, please? Cranked wheel, which which works which works which works manually, and as it is written on the PPT that it is taken from the Sanskrit word known as chakra. So the charkha is a portable device which can be taken anywhere, and a smaller portable device is known as peti's charkha, which fits into a peti and it can be carried anywhere. The charkha has got a new avatar in the form of ambar charkha or spindle charkha. Can we have the next slide, please? The ambar charkha or the spindle charkha, which is operated using the electricity. Solar charkha is the latest development where the solar energy is harnessed to operate the charkha, making khadi as an eco-friendly cloth. You can see the pictures of the Gandhi charkha and the Amber charkha. Now the charkha was converted into a spindle charkha, which was which started as a six spindle charkha, and later on it is now we get solar charkha of around 16 spindles. And this is the peti charkha, which we have seen shown the video also, which we will be posting on the YouTube. So basically, these are the charkhas and the types of charkhas which are used to spin the yarn from the puni, which is made out of the cotton. Can we have the next slide, please? uh, the the whole after spinning the yarn, the puni is converted into yarn, and then yarn is converted into a cloth, a textile, which is done through a khadi, that is kargha. And loom is a machine which is used to manufacture woven fabric. Looms are the device used to weave. So the module 3 of our khadi, it deals with weaving of the cloth. And after the child or the learner learns how to spin the yarn from module 1 and module 2, so they use kargha in the third module, wherein they are learning about the types of karghas like handlooms and power loom. By the name itself, you can understand that handlooms are the looms which are operated manually, and the power looms are operated electrically. So it is up to us that as how we are practicing our making of yarn, or practicing making of the using of puni and takli, and then the charkha. Then comes the usage of kargha. Over to you, now. Over to you, Shri ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So, Khadi, as we know, has come a long way. It is an ancient art since hand spinning and weaving have been around for 1,000 years. However, the craft lost its importance over the years due to increased industrialization. Hence, introducing the skill for classes 6 onwards has given a chance to develop and revive the charm of Khadi. Khadi has been a symbol of patriotism since it was brought to the forefront during the Swadeshi movement that aimed at boycotting the English products. Mahatma Gandhi saw its potential to bring about self reliance, independence, and a way to bring villages back to life. He compares the spinning wheel with hope of the masses. However, after independence, the government of India established the All India Khadi and Village Industries Commission in 1957, which is charged with planning, organizing, and implementing the programs for development. In present times, many large scale apparel manufacturers are collaborating with the Commission to use Khadi in their new collection and product lines.
So, in brief, I'll just apprise you. The learners will be learning about the process of khadi making, and then which involves, cotton cultivation in the fields, wherein cotton balls are picked by hand in the fields. And after that, the cotton fiber is separated by hand using a fine comb. And this prepares the fiber for spinning. And the slivers are spun into yarn. And finally, the weaving takes place on the loom. Now, when we are involved in the process of spinning, so it not only enhances our physical health, but also has a calming and meditative effect on us. So that's how Khadi is related to health and well-being.
Khadi offers many scopes and opportunities: spinning of yarn, weaving of cloth, natural dyeing, fabric designing, fashion designing, and innovative craftsmanship are to name a few. Pati ma'am, over to you.
So when we talk about the integration of khadi with other subjects, the learning and mastering the art of making the khadi cloth follows the interdisciplinary approach. as it involves tracing the history of Khadi from ancient times to the present world. To name a few, it studies geography when it explains about the raw material and it grows and its growing areas. It involves science when the learner studies about the type of cloth and the processes involved in making the cloth. Converting the cloth into apparel involves fashion designing, and as stated before, its impact on the health and the wellness of the learner. And finally, the sale of the final product involves the entrepreneurship of our learners. And this shows that it is the integration of the subject of other subjects with the khadi is very well understood in these three modules. And next is the assessment. Assessment, we totally agree with the suggestions given by CBSE, and the assessments may be conducted twice in each term. A project work and the field trip is a good tool of assessment for Khadi. As far as the requirement of the labs are concerned, it is suggested that the basic and initial requirement are of punis, and that is the raw material, and takli, from which the child will learn how to make a yarn. Can we have the next slide, please? As the learner masters the techniques, the requirement of other tools are needed step by step. So setting up a laboratory is a good idea for initially the only required tools are the raw material first, that is puni, the cotton, and the takli. And later on, as we move on with the practicing the making of yarn, we can use the charkha peti and peti charkha and other charkha like ambat charkha, and so on. We can use as per our expertise as we are growing into our expertise. The facilitators can be trained by the training sessions which are held at Gandhi Museum. There are several branches of KVIC which have the provision of training on how to make khadi. The information about the raw material procurement is also available on these KVIC centers. However, the Amber Charkha, Solar Charkha, and their parts are easily available online with the vendors like IndiaMart, Amazon, etc. Practice, in the final statement, I would say that practice is the key to learn the art of making khadi.
Thank you, everyone, for being patient listeners. The session is now open for questions.
Hello. Thank you for the wonderful session. And we are a little concerned about the technical glitches but that's a part of the technological world that we are talking about. We are really happy to have with us Mr. R.P. Singh, our Joint Secretary, Skill Education. He is here, who has joined us, and I would really want Dr. R.P. Singh to just say a few words, and then we'll make the question and answer session come in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vicky. I would request Bhakti ma'am to kindly unshare the screen. Well, very warm welcome, and thank you to the team from BPS Hyderabad for this informative session. Although this session was more about the teachers talking, less about the actual material being shown, but nonetheless, that was one of the ways it could have been presented. As you're aware, the CBSE has introduced these modules for the students of middle school. But as pointed out in the first webinar of the series, these modules are available to everybody in the school, to all the students from class 6 to class 12.
Okay, I was on mute.
No, you are not.
Thank you, team DPS Hyderabad, for this session. Neeti, could you mute yourself? I hope I'm clear. As you're aware, the CBSE has introduced these modules for the students from classes 6 to 12 in a school.
These modules are available to everyone. The registrations will be done on the CBSE website. Dr. Johri and his team from IT has made a very nice portal which takes care of registration to certification. That portal can be accessed from the CBSE website on the academic CBSE academic website under the heading Knowledge and Skill, the SAKSH portal. You can give these modules to students from classes 6 to 8 as was initially envisaged, and so the modules have been having the heading on the cover page as class 6, class 7 or class 8. But during the discussion and interaction with the school and at various platforms, it was discussed, and then it has been uh, sort of agreed upon that these will be called as module 1, module 2 and module 3. So we'll modify the covers and the titles accordingly. Anybody in the school from class 6 to 12, right now the portal takes only 6 to 8, but we are modifying it. It very shortly we allowing other students also will can take the modules, but no matter which class you are in, you will always start from module 1. So you will have a group of heterogeneous students. Maybe you can have a group of students of class 6 in the same group, 7 or 8. Then another question that we have had from teachers, that do we need to hire any particular trainer or an extra teacher, or do we need to create a lab space for it? Well, and do we need to give a separate period for it also? It was envisaged that these can be offered through the club activity or in the activity periods during the 10 backlash days or on vacation, or maybe club activity, wherein different club activities can be offered simultaneously to the students. And the students, as per their interest, can take up an activity. Some might go to Khadi, some might go to bakery, some might go to beauty and wellness, some might go to yoga, some might go to embroidery, and so on and so forth. So the group of students that, so maybe the school needs to give the club period simultaneously in different classes so that the students can take up the activity like we normally do in our summer camps or the winter camps or the holiday camps. So it has been envisaged that the students will take up the activities as a fun mode. We do not want to put any pressure on the student. Already they have the academic workload and the activities. So this skill has been thought to be introduced as fun, and the study material that has been prepared reflects exactly that. If you see the study material of different topics, you will find that they are all stories. They're all done by schools and students, very colorfully done, so that the student has an interest. And we believe that once the interest develops, the student will try to go on that skill. So we are not forcing a child to take it. So it's completely an optional thing. And today, when we're interacting with the schools, we got a request that what if my teacher want to do it? Because some of the teachers are finding it very interesting also. They would also want to do it. So like Chairperson ma'am in her address in the beginning of this webinar series had also said that there's a skill hub initiative that CBSE is participating in. We are allowing the schools to do club activities or skill activities in the afternoon or the after school sessions. So the teachers can do these skill activities there. They can upskill themselves, reskill themselves using these modules, and the certificate will be given to them if they register themselves on the Skill India portal. So they can utilize the Skill Hub platform and the Skill India portal for upskilling themselves also. During the school time, as it's a fun activity, the assessment is also reflecting the same. There is no pen and paper assessment, as the teaching is only 30% and 70% is a hands-on activity or the projects or the portfolio that the child is making. And that portfolio or the activity is done by the child in the class. When the teacher says that the child has done these activities and the module has been completed, CBSE is going to issue a certificate. Right now, we're not asking for any evidences, but it is advisable that you keep them at your end only if required by CBSE. So no pen and paper test as of now. The assessments is going to be formative only. It's going to be initially school-based, but the guidelines will be there in the form of a circular very shortly. Again, I would like to put my appreciation on record for Sandeep Sethi and the Princess Diya Kumari Foundation and the group of schools who have engaged in preparation of these modules. In fact, 13 modules have been prepared by PDKF and 39 manuals in the form of graphic novels. Like we call them graphic novels now, but we have grown up calling them comics. So that have been prepared. And we have been joined, Dr. Swati Gupta is also here. She was, and Jyoti Gupta ji, both are part of the team that has prepared 8 graphic novels of beauty and wellness. So they started the project and it was taken forward by Pandit Diya Kumari Foundation. And wherever we have shown these books, even in the ministry and the schools also, we have received a lot of appreciation. And the very interesting thing that is the book, though have been prepared by teachers, but they have been vetted by the industry. So industry has really come forth and vetted the content. And as informed by Chairperson Ma'am in the first webinar, CBSC is now an accrediting body with NCVT. That means our certificate holds ground when it comes to PMKVY also. We are an assessing body and awarding body with the National Council for Vocational Education and Training. So a lot of interesting things happening, a lot of things stored in the future. But the more important thing that we start early, we expose them to skills. As you know, India is the most populous country now. We have the biggest number of people in a country and we are the youngest population. And this population is studying in the schools. The population is there with you, and if we expose this population to skills right on, so the when they come out of the schools, they will have a good hobby, they will have a well skilled persons, and if and when they enter the workforce, which they eventually will, they will be a skilled person and a person who is going to be integrated with life skills so they can manage the stress better. Wish you all the best, and thank you for joining in and for all the support. I would now hand it over to Dr. Swati Gupta for the comments, and also to Niti Sharma. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Are we taking up questions right now, Niti, or are we summarizing it?
We can take the questions because I think we were a little, the 5 o'clock session was there, but I think we're still open for a few questions. If somebody who is joining through WebEx, I'll give the first preference to them, and then we'll take up a few questions that have come on a different platforms like the YouTube or the emails that we are getting on our, session. So anybody from here in the WebEx who has joined us who would like to put up any query or any question to the team pertaining to the implementation of this particular skill module in the school setup. Hmm. I think Kiran ma'am, I could see some hand raised there. Kiran ma'am, do you have anything, any question here? Kiran Dalal ma'am.
Good evening, Niti ma'am, and Aarti sir. So everything is very much
What
clear,
I'll do
nicely
in the
explained.
meantime, I would take up a question that has come in, which is very, very simple. They say that can we take charkha in school? So that's a very normal question, but 2 or 3 people have asked this. So they say how to procure the tools or how to procure the charkha or the
I
yeah.
also remember a question like this one. Somebody was asking, do I need charkha for teaching this module, or can I teach it without the charkha also?
So there are two ways of
So yes,
teaching the
yes, please,
module. I'll take up this question. There are two ways of
please
doing
answer the
this
question.
module. One is that you can also take your children to the local KVIC center. They will be very happy to give the hands on experience to the children. They have a mandate of taking the classes twice in a week, and they can also schedule the classes specially for your children. So if you do not want to initially procure the charkha till somebody in the school is actually skilled to operate it, you can do it in this manner. Otherwise, you can procure the charkha for your school, and you can have your people skilled, your teachers skilled. We all have fashion studies as a module, and this is something that anyways there are a lot of people who are interested in acquiring this skill. As Alpi sir was saying, that there are teachers who are wanting to also get hands-on experience. So somebody in the school would be really keen on learning it. So you can bring in the charkha once you are confident that you have skilled people who will be able to guide the children and also use the charkha in a more protected and a safe manner. Yes, sir wants to bring in
Jyoti
a
ma'am,
thought.
one question. Uh, is the charkha necessary for teaching these modules?
So, Charkha, if we are only going to talk about it conceptually, sir, then it is not going to work, as a skill subject. So, it's important that the children get the hands-on experience of converting the raw cotton into the yarn. I will again repeat, the same thing can be done in their visits to the KVIC center, and we've had conversations with them. They are very much willing to accommodate the children twice in a week, to come to them and to learn how to create the yarn through their own hands. They will let the children operate it as well.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this feedback. And I think Dr. Swati Gupta wants to put in a query. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am, please
thank
go
you.
ahead.
I just wanted to add that you can buy a charkha online for as much as 3,000 to 4,000 rupees.
Yes. Yes.
Besides, it's not about charkha because that is about making yarn. You also need to have a loom to make a fabric. So the process of making a simple loom is also being described in one of the modules. So that can be created in the school itself by the students and then can practice. So you don't need to have a big loom or 48 inches loom. You can have a small 20-inch, 10-inch loom and you can prepare your samples. So that was my
Absolutely.
addition.
So you can prepare small mats, you can prepare small
Yes.
hankies, you can prepare some small stuff that can be used at home.
Mhm.
So it's all hands on experience. And once the children get the art and science of creating this, then they can take it further, as Bharti in her presentation was also mentioning, that these products through the entrepreneurship club or through the group can also be sold to the children. So the printing department can come together with the skill department, and they can create a lot of products together. And the school during the PTMs, during Diwali, can put up the sale of these products, and the children end up not getting just one skill of creating the khadi products, but also how to market them, how to
Absolutely.
sell them, and
Product
how to
development.
again create the products that are eco-friendly and that relate to the sustainable development goals of not just the UN but of our own country, as we
Countries.
are the chair for the G20 as well.
Fine. I think we can just have one more question and then we can wrap up the session. And it's a very relevant question because this is something which is asked now in each and every session of ours. And that is how to get the experts. Because this is a little technical thing wherein you can, for food production you can still have your home science teachers who can do it. So from the one school which has done it and been there, I think that that's very relevant that you all can give the feedback about how to get the experts to get this rolling on in the schools if they take up Khadi as one of the modules.
So I would like to share and hand over to Bharti after that till she unmutes herself. For us at KR Mangalam and DPS Saibabad, because both the schools have collaboratively done this project, it was a challenge for us too, because there was no teacher who possessed the knowledge of the technical knowledge of how to create khadi. Even when we were doing our brainstorming sessions, that time also we had this challenge. But the moment we approached the khadi, Gramodyog and KVIC, and that also accidentally and in the planned manner, I would say both, where and she would interact with all of them. We got a lot of traction, and people were really happy in the industry that there was a module that was coming up right in the schools. And I think rightly so, like ma'am also said that time, that we must take it up to the 9th, 10th, and to the 11th, 12th level also. And the entire industry is ready to partner with us, they are ready to support us. And it's not as if it is not available. Every district, every state has the Khadi Gram Udyog there, and they have the KVIC there, so the children can always take the advantage. So over to you, Bharti, if you can just in a minute share your journey of creating this, and also is there a teacher who is required specially to take this?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. We require a lot of training for like basically as the practice makes the man perfect. It is the same thing for this module also. Like we have KVIC, and then we have Gandhi Ashram, wherein KVIC they are holding classes for using charkha. So in fact, they have sessions on, as ma'am said, on the same days of Tuesday and Saturdays. So there are people who are getting trained in Gandhi Museum and as well as in KVIC. And definitely, as we work on charkha, it is like therapy which takes place, and we keep on working on that. So it is basically, once you learn the technique, it is your practice which makes the man perfect or the person perfect. So the trainers train themselves while working on the charkha. So initial around 3 to 4 classes are required. Otherwise, we are like even I attended few sessions, and there is one other school near Gandhi Museum who give classes for to children as well as to the people whosoever approach them. So
And
getting trained
if
is
I
not a
can
big
come
problem.
in here, if I can come in here, Swati ma'am, Niti ma'am, we can also post a few videos where, in the module in the same space, and we can, those schools and the children can look at the videos and also, start learning. The teachers can start learning. So I will take that up, and in, the coming times, we can post that. And it would be very good if we can set up a small loom in the school itself and get the charkha. It's not expensive, it is all available
It's very
on
simple.
Amazon as well. And we can get it. And in fact, the community around the school, like what Alpi sir was talking about, if we are going to create and we are already a skill hub in both the schools. So if we can create this facility in the school itself, then later on we can also plan to do our uniforms in khadi. There was a circular from CBSE a couple of years back where we were encouraged to even go on to the sustainable fabric where our uniforms are concerned. So the community around the schools itself can be involved in creating a skill hub for this. And there can be a lot of more work that can be done through this.
Ma'am,
Thank
there are
you, ma'am. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, because I think this is a very, very good information. Because over the period of time when I was scrolling through the chat, this was one aspect which was really talked about a lot, where they wanted that we want to see how the practical is done in the school, and we want to know the practical aspects of the module. So, since now you have put up that you would be adding the modules or the practical aspects in a way that the schools can have a look at it and can go back and deliver it to their kids around. I think that makes the wholesome experience. And I would like to wrap up this session now and invite Dr. Swati Gupta for her thank you speech and the summation of the entire session of today. Thank you, everyone. And Swati, please come over and
Sure.
speak.
Thank you, Niti. And before we start with the summarizing of this session, I would just like to add that even home science teachers can take up this course, because home science consists of 4 dimensions, out of which textiles is also one of those. So, with little bit of training. Even home science teachers can take up this module. And with this, I think I can summarize the whole session. And before that, I would like to say that session was wonderfully driven by the team of Sahibabad and our KR Mangalam and of course Jyoti ma'am. She has been there for part of all the graphic novel preparation and the content and topic selection. So I think she deserves a better accord at this point of time. And before we start summarizing, I would just like to say that if somebody asks you what is the soul of India, don't think twice. It's Khadi, because Khadi has been part of this country's Indian subcontinent for years and maybe decade centuries old, and millennia would be a right word, because it is also found in the mentions itself in earth shastra, and which is a very old documented uh, part of India. And it is also said that khadi is something which brings you closer to your own self. And why is that so? Because it is all hand done. It doesn't have anything to do with chemicals or with machines, but it is done by the souls of all the humans who touch them and who create khadi right from the seed to the fabric. So not a single part has a chemical touch to it. So it makes you happier when you wear khadi. And it is a research document that I'm quoting right now. So khadi is not just a fabric, it is not just made out of cotton. It is something which touches you, which brings health to you and happiness to you. So when we think about happiness, and when we talk about longevity, we also associate economic aspects to it. So Gandhi found its revival during the freedom struggle, when Gandhiji realized that we all need to be self-reliant in some ways or another, because maximum products were being were purchased by Indians from the Britishers, and we were actually giving out all of our money and our raw products. So how would we survive? How will the small families in villages survive? And Khadi came out to be a very excellent system, and everything was done by hand. There were no requirement of machines, and that was made by Indians, worn by Indians, and happy Indians and prosperous Indians. So this is the basic behind Khadi, and this is what we need to follow. And the best part is Khadi, the main part of khadi is charkha, and charkha found its place in the one of the first national flags that was created by Pingali Venkayaji, and it was beautifully placed right in the center, because that was the main focus of khadi, charkha, self-reliance, happy families, economically well-fed families. So with this, I bring the whole session to a close. And I would like to thank all the people who were part of this process, including, of course, teams, wonderful, under the guidance of Dr. Jyoti Gupta, Dr. Sandeep Sethi sir, because his creativity is unmatched. I have personally worked with him, and I find it, he cannot be judged by mere words. You have to work with him. And of course, all the teachers and teachers who are there in the group, who are participating in it, for your wonderful comments. And I hope you carry this fervor with you when you go back to your school, and take khadi with you, and not just take it as a course, but also purchase it and bring it to your home and use it. And all the participants, wonderful participants who are watching us on the YouTube, I'm so happy. By the end of this session, you are resonating our whole effort of taking khadi as a course in your schools. And of course, with Dr. R.P. Singh, Dr. Viswajit Saha, Director Skill Education, under whose guidance the whole concepts were developed. My colleague, Ms. Niti Shankar Sharma, for her excellent coordination of the session. And with this, I think I can close the session for today. And if there are any queries, you know where to get to us, or our numbers are on the website, and there's a YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much.
I would like to add here that you can ask the queries, send the queries on the email ID specially created for these modules. That's CBSE skill modules at gmail.com. Niti.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Swati Gupta, for this excellent wrapping up of the session. And it meant a lot, and we came to know a lot of things. A person who's extensively worked on the textile sector, I think coming from you does make a difference. Now, I can only say one thing, and that is spin, weave, and wear with pride. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you.